Speak it up, holding on, Trigger, you've done it, you champion. Speak it up, wins, goes to the lead. John's going to take out the Dudley Justice, and that's Mr. Ali. It could be, he's fighting back. Oh, look at him. Speak it up, does it.
Welcome to another episode of Mobile Rolling, episode 10 actually, Jimmy. I think we've only got one to go after this, unfortunately, unless we've got sponsors out there who think that they can want the show to keep going and invest in us over the next 10 or so weeks. They can certainly get in touch with our esteemed leader, Max Beasley, and sponsor. But another strong week of harness racing here in South Australia, mate. Led off, I reckon, on Monday with Lisa and Toby Ryan, which, you know, we've got to take credit for that, surely. He's on Vet Talk every week and he's come up with 4 on Monday, so surely that's just the luck.
Amazing how you think we've got so much influence on these people. But I'll tell you what, though, it's funny you mention that because this week, Toby Ryan not available for Vet Talk. David Quirk's been trying to ring Toby because of the success. 4 winners as a trainer, and his wife Lisa 4 winners as a driver. PB for both of them. They've had media commitments, they've had people ringing them time and time again. David Quirk rang Toby, trying to get hold of Toby. Always engaged. David rang us because he knew that Toby's part of the show here. He said, I'm trying to get hold of Toby Ryan. Can't. I said, well, neither can we, right, because he's too busy. So Quirky said, well, listen, we had an issue with Toby with Vet Talk. So we couldn't get hold of him. Well, Quirky put his hand up and said, well, look, I'll do a talk on farrier work. So Toby, with all of his commitments, he won't be doing Vet Talk this week, but David Quirk will be doing the farrier with Barbaro. Yeah, look, congratulations to Toby and Lisa. It's really the epitome of what harness racing's all about, isn't it? It's about family. Together they've done it, husband and wife, 4 winners, and they did it at the same time.
Well, and to be honest, mate, they've had a lean run by their standards over the last 12 months.
He's been busy doing Vet Talk and all that.
Busy doing that and probably not concentrating enough. And all of a sudden you come up with 4, and that's just hard work and that's just believing in yourself and keeping on going, and 4 winners, fantastic. Yeah,
look, they all went well. It's like a little turning point. So maybe follow the Toby Ryan team from now on.
The other one, our guest coming in later on today, Ryan Hryhorec. He's now back in some super form as well. And to be honest, Ryan will probably say it was a leanish period for him with the suspension and his horses weren't going as good as what he's done, but same deal, he's the best, and all of a sudden they're going really well and he's back in the winners list both as a driver and a trainer. So we keep saying it week after week, if you keep believing in yourself in harness racing, you keep having a crack, the luck turns.
Well, look, you had a bit of time off, you had a chance to take a step back, have a look at things, reassess.
Go on a holiday.
Started driving a few winners.
He did, that's right.
Back in action.
Exactly right.
A push bike, never forget.
Now, one thing I want to bring up with you as well, the trotters are reverting back to the old handicapping system until into the season, I gather.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A few people I've spoken to saying that trotting numbers have dropped away since the new system was introduced. I haven't got an opinion on that either way. Do you think they have dropped away? Or
I've heard people say that. I haven't paid much attention to that, to be quite honest. I think the handicapping system is going to be controversial. I think it's going to be... Look, I've got to say, I haven't looked into it at all. I haven't pulled it to pieces. I just put it in the too hard basket. And maybe some of the trainers are like that too, I don't know. But look, I've had people tell me that they're sending a lot of their trotters interstate because it's no benefit to be here, because the way the handicapping system's working, some of these trotters will get a start, some of these do, but these in the middle don't. So
that's right. And I'm hearing that some of the good ones can only start maybe once a month because it's just not a race to suit them.
If that's the case, that's not racing often enough, is it?
No, that's right. Not a hope.
But look, I think they'll work it out.
They will. They will, and we'll keep going. We'll be back after the break with our first guest, Ryan Hryhorec.
Pronto United Finance provides a professional, friendly and personalised service, offering competitive consumer lending solutions for whatever your current lifestyle finance requirements may be. We offer secured and unsecured loans for all types of items and occasions, large or small. It might be for a car or motorbike, a boat, a jet ski or caravan, and even horse floats. It might even be for a holiday or wedding. Contact us today, get your pre-approval in place and your mind at ease. Pronto United Finance, putting your personal needs first.
And welcome back to Mobile Rolling. We've got a very, very special guest in the studio today, Jimmy. Nearly 12,000 drives this bloke's had.
Yeah.
Over 2,000 winners, 6 trainers' premierships, over 6 million prize money.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So we welcome Ryan Hryhorec to the studio today. Good on you, mate. Good. Thanks for coming in.
No worries, thanks guys, thanks for having me.
Added to that, Rocky, I'll go through the list later on at the end of the show. He's in an elite group. There's only 11 people that have done it. We spoke last week about 100 years of harness racing.
Yep.
Let's cut that in half, say 50 years. In the last 50 years of harness racing in South Australia, there's only 11 people that have done it, and Ryan's one of those, and that's winning the Drivers' Premiership for a season. Yeah. So that was, I'll just check that, Ryan, that was in 2014?
2014.
Yeah, he was the top driver of South Australia, getting 213 wins. But yeah, we'll go through the list later on.
We will. We could probably ask Ryan a couple of questions, seeing he's sitting there as
He's
well,
got a
mate, because we
rough
could talk about him for 15 minutes. First question, really serious one, mate. 6 million in prize money. What do you spent it all on?
Yeah, I'd sort of like you to give me a percentage of it straight up in one lump sum. We might be able to do something with it. But yeah, it's a pretty big figure, but over a long period of time, obviously.
Yeah. And you got involved through your old man, John, who was really successful in the 80s as well, in a really good era of trainer drivers. 2 brothers that didn't show a whole lot of interest, but you made up for it just by yourself with the passion that you had from such a young age, didn't you? And where did you get, so fast work, when did you start driving fast work?
Oh, it's hard to put numbers to it, but I was fairly young and I always was heavily involved and just loved it from a young kid. 2 brothers, one wasn't involved at all, and then I had a brother who'd done a bit of driving and went and spent a period of time with Ignite working in the stables and that. But he was never involved like me. I was, I'd ride my push bike at the trials and he'd be driving races and I'd be telling him what's this one and what's that one. And then he sort of lost interest more to the point very close to when I started driving to take over. So probably as 11 or 12 started driving a bit of fast work.
Okay.
There's a point there that Ryan just made. He was telling his brother which one's which, and that's one thing you do, Rozzy. You're fairly unique in that when you're around the parade ring, you're looking at the horses and you're seeing what the actual horse looks like that you're in competition against, and you get to learn their idiosyncrasies and their abilities. And I think that's been a plus to you to get so many winners, where you've done your research and you can see a horse maybe in the paddock and you probably even tell people what that horse is.
Yeah, I think it's a huge asset. If I'm driving in a race and for some reason, maybe a horse has changed trainer and it's in different harness and that, and I don't know it. I need to know, and I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a huge asset if you're driving in a race and you can just look over your shoulder and see a horse's head and know what it is to make a decision what you need to do. So yeah, Jimmy's right. Always from day one, you go to the trials, and back when I was a kid, you could trial a horse sort of under a different name and stuff like that before everything become really.
I think no horse at Days Road ever
had
its real name. They just forgot, didn't they? On Sunday, I can't remember what the name of that is.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I could sort of pick it by. So yeah, I think it's a pretty big asset.
I think you're right, and that's probably why you're at the top of the tree as well, mate, is so many drivers drive their horse and that's it, whereas good ones like you and Wayne and Danny, etc., you can see the field around you and you know whether you need to come out, whether you need to stay in, whether that horse will stay 3 wide or there'll be a gap. And to me, that's why you become better and better than the rest of the pack, is because you understand all the horses in the field, not just yours.
Yeah, and it's about, when making decisions in a race, is like you said, it's not only about your horse, it's about what other horses have done in the race as well, in regards to how much work they've done to what they can do later and stuff like that. So, yeah, for sure.
We spoke about you being South Australia's premier driver in 2014 with 213 winners. Also 7 times in the 100 club, so he's driven 100 winners a season 7 times on top of that.
Yeah.
And it all pretty well started around the 2010-2011 season. So what was the change you think that really catapulted you to get that success to steamroll from there?
Probably more to the point of other people rather than me, in regards to people leaving the state, which obviously allowed me more opportunities. Obviously the chance to drive better quality horses as well, which gives a huge asset. Aaron Brown was probably my really first stumbling block. I started driving for him, and he had a great horse at the time. We had a great relationship, and then from him I branched out to training, and then obviously that's where it snowballed from there.
Yeah, I go back to, and Rocky mentioned your dad, John, things that spring to mind straight away of what would be memorable wins for you. Hot on ice, trained by your dad, one of your first biggest wins,
sure.
maybe your first ever
Yeah,
biggest
I reckon
win,
she was the
Southern
first Southern Cross.
Yeah.
We couldn't crack it. Equity, don't think he ever won one, but he was a really nice horse, and then I reckon she was the first one in '99, I reckon.
Yeah.
So that was a big buzz, yeah.
You've had some beauties over the time, mate, and some you pay money for, but there's things like on Princess Sophie. What'd you pay for her?
Yeah, I think Paul paid 1,000 or 1,200 for her as an unraced sort of trotter. And that's how we started. Paul Brumby was the starting block. He was the first person who come to me and said, "We've got a syndicate of people, find a horse." Star Brutus was the first horse.
Yep.
I think he ended up winning 20 races overall. So that was the first one, and we only sort of, anywhere between 2,000 or 5,000 sort of per horse, and we've got a bit of a ratio that we've got to get 1 and 3 right. If we sort of getting a bit beyond the 1 and 3, we're sort of getting into a bit of dangerous territory. But been really, really lucky, ridiculously lucky, really, for the price we paid from horse like Radiant Energy was $1,000. Just done a great job. But yeah, the list sort of goes on. So we have been very lucky.
Yeah, but with that, I suppose, is Paul does a lot of research. Like he's a bit of a form analyst himself, and looks at different things and assesses. Well, this horse might be better with Ryan as opposed to who it's with in Victoria or whatever. So I've spoken with him, and he's got a lot of faith in what you present, what you bring. So the teamwork that you've done over the years together, owner, trainer combination, seems to work well, and you're good friends on top of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a few things that we've got to, boxes they've got to tick in regards to they would have had to have raced in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so you're not trying to get someone to sell you one that's broken down or something. So there's a few boxes that we like to tick to give ourselves some sort of chance.
Yeah. The extension of that, Rosie, going through it with other stables, and Aaron's one of them. You've got some terrific owners, but how do you see? We have to get more people involved in harness racing, no question. There's 2 really big stables that we're talking about, yours and Aaron's. If he had his main 5 owners walk away from the sport, then he'd just about shut his doors, and you'd probably be in the same category as that. So have you any opinion on how the hell we get more people involved in harness racing?
Not really. I mean, I've just been ridiculously lucky in regards to Paul, Frank Borg, Greg Baker, just 3 loyal people have been with me for a long, long time. So like you said, if I was to lose Paul, like his syndicate started with him and 5 or 6 other people, and it's just huge. If we happen to find one, 45-50% of it's just sold already to his syndicate, and then work it out. So I mean, you probably can't go past syndication really, which we sort of haven't branched into. I've just sort of stuck with our loyal bunch of owners, and Greg Baker, he's on the other side where he breeds all his, so that just keeps influx of horses to me as well, which pays the workers and keeps things going. But it's very, very hard to get new people involved. It's sort of hard to paint a nice, pretty picture, to be honest.
You're right with that. We were talking about that today with a couple of mates that I'm trying to get into a horse, and we always go back to the prize money side of it, but it is such an important thing, when they ring me and say, "Well, we ran second, how much did we get?" My answer is, I don't know what they pay for second and third, because I don't want to tell them that they're picking up 250, between 10 of them or whatever. So to me, it's all about the fun and the involvement and going out to the trots. It's a fantastic night out. So somehow we just need to invite them along, but that's by the by. 2016, you made a really big decision, didn't you, to head out to 2 Wells?
Huge. We were obviously, we started from, like I said, I branched off from Aaron Brown's, and I went to Lance Justice, and I think I walked out of Aaron's, I think we started with, it was 8 horses, just myself and Matthew Maguire, my head number 1 man. And I said, well, we'll have a go. We're just me and you, and I've got enough 8 horses. We'll pay you a wage and me a wage, and we'll see where we end up. And not long sort of after we kicked off to that branch of it, Aaron Brown decided to go to Sydney and have a crack at Sydney. So Jeffrey sort of come up for option of leasing it, which was another huge step. Like it was 2,000 a week rent. It was just was just 2,000 a month, sorry, 500.
That's a bit cheap.
Yeah. So it was a big thing, you know, to rent it out and try and start off again. So we went there and, yeah, we progressed to sort of 20 or 25 horses over a period of time. And then Jeffries was obviously coming up. He was obviously always trying to sell it to developers and that, and sort of had to make a play to find somewhere, because if it come to a point where Jeffrey said, look, developers are moving it, we're out, it's got to go, well then it's not easy to go and find 25 yards for a place. So Kerry and I decided to have a look around, and yeah, we found a magnificent 75 acres with just a house and nothing on it. So the timing of that just couldn't have been any better. We spent 12 months living there while we worked very hard setting it up and getting on what we needed on it to make it.
Where were you working your horses when you were building your track?
Yeah, so like I said, it was really, the timing was really good. We were still at Jeffries at the time.
Yeah.
So we were able to work the horses there while we were still setting up at home. And by the time we set everything up at home, it was only about 3 months after I just got it, we had everything ready to go, that Jeffrey had sold it and it was gone for developers. So yeah, the timing worked out really good, and we had somewhere to go, and yeah, we're still pushing on now.
Yeah. So you've got it where you want now, your place, Rozzy?
Yeah, there's still stuff that we'd love to have. You know, money's obviously a big thing. I'd love to put in just a walker for the horses and that sort of stuff, but it's all money, and it's hard to sort of spend a lot because to see the future to where we're headed, which is a worry. But yeah, no, it's working pretty good at the minute.
Biggest thrill for you driving wise, or biggest 3 or 4 thrills?
To win on Repelem at Moonee Valley for Dad when he was quite ill was a really, really big thrill. Yeah, and she was just an amazing horse. Just the job she done for him was huge. So
you got it to another level, like where he first had her, and then she just went to a much higher level, didn't she?
Yeah. I always pleaded with him to send her somewhere because she was too good for here, and she was just sort of going through the motions a bit here, and then obviously the lease run out, and Mark Kerry sent her to Sydney, and she just done a huge job there. She just went to another level again. But yeah, I remember him saying like he trained for 50 odd years, and she was the best horse he ever had. And he said, I won't give up trying to get another one. You know, she was just 40 odd races or something she won. So yeah, that was a big thrill.
And that was at Moonee Valley, wasn't it? So the difference, I think Moonee Valley was still intimate enough for when you went there. Were you super excited about?
Well, it was Melton. Melton was the first time. Okay. Yeah, I only drove. I think I only had 5 drives or something on at Moonee Valley, which was just amazing. But yeah, it was Melton. So Melton was a big thrill for sure. Yeah.
So even today, if you went back to Melton Saturday night, would you still get a different excitement about driving there than home?
Yeah, because it's just something different. It's the track's better, it's different, there's probably more people if you drive on a better night, so it's a different thrill for sure.
And seeing people like Gavin Lang and Alfred walk around the place. And
I mean, even on our bigger nights as well, it's a bit of a buzz as well, so
yeah. All right. Anything else? We can talk for ages. I've got for a drive on Sunday though, mate. You're going for a little journey around Oyen?
yeah, we've got the couple going to Oyen. We're trying to pick up a Vic Bred bonus with one, so pretty big weekend ahead.
No, that's good.
All right. 6 times he's got 5 winners at one meeting. I want you to equal the Australian record at some stage. You've got to get 6 to equal the Australian record. But you got close so many times, right?
I'll do my best. I've got to try and do my best to spend a little bit more time out there rather than the sidelines.
Good luck with that, mate. All right. We could probably do a part 2 with Rozzy, I reckon, at some stage. With this, there's so much more to talk to him about. There's so many horses that he's had over the years that people have either not known about or forgotten about. So with his permission that he's already just given us, we'll get him back, I reckon.
Okay. Part 2 coming up. Just Wrecking Toyota, South Terrace Wingfield, for all your recycled and reconditioned parts. Our huge range covers almost every model in the vast Toyota stable. Proudly South Australian with over 25 years in the automotive recycling industry. So, if you want to save some serious money on anything Toyota, call us on 8359 4499 for fast and friendly service.
We're here tonight at Globe Derby for the SA Pony Association, and with our president, Kelly Moritz. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you.
Now, Pony Trots goes back a long, long way, and for me to think that, I reckon that it's obviously plays a huge role in the development of our drivers through generation after generation. I know I never used to take a lot of notice of them, but then you see Danny Hill, Wayne Hill, Aaron Bain, Kenny Rogers, the whole crew have come through pony trots, haven't they?
They have indeed, yes. The thing is that I actually drove for one season myself at the age of 15.
Okay.
So I got one season in before I hit the old 16 mark.
Yeah.
35 years ago. 25 years ago, sorry.
Wow, I was going to say you.
Yeah, no, 25.
What age can the kids start at?
6 years old.
Six?
Must be 6, yes.
Wow.
Yes, so we just had a race just then. We had 3 juniors come through this season.
Okay.
3 6-year-olds, which was really great to see. Family names.
Yep.
The Browns.
Yep.
We also had the Seals come through.
Okay.
And also Oliver Smith.
Right.
Smith.
So talk us through, like, it's not just, is it the kids just come and jump on, or they've got to learn to gear the horse up, they've got to do pretty much everything to get themselves out on the track, or they get a fair bit of assistance early on?
It's up to each individual.
Yep.
Once they start hitting the age, probably 13, you start seeing them gear them up themselves.
Yep.
A lot of the time the parents are harnessing them up for them.
Yep.
But I do know that a lot actually do work them at home themselves.
Okay. And they've got the same gaits, they've got trotting gaits, and they've got paces, so
no, only trotters.
Only trotters?
Only trotting, yes.
And what happens if a horse goes into a gallop during the race? Is it up to the driver to try and settle them back down? Or
yes.
So that's a learning thing as well for them.
It is. The children
come race day.
Yeah, the children need to learn how to control the pony at a trotting speed.
Yep.
When they do gallop, they must then obviously try to restrain that pony.
Yep.
And bring it back to the trot.
Yep.
So they can actually get relegated.
Okay.
If they do gallop too much distance. So yeah.
And how long does a season go for?
Typically we go from October through to the end of March, virtually our daylight savings times.
Okay.
Yeah, we had quite a few in this season that actually went over to Milton for the Inter-Dominions. So a lot of these ponies have actually been in since August.
And you've been here watching them from all this time. Is there an excitement for the kids to get out on the track and have their race and come back in?
There is.
Like, it's really competitive as well. It's no different
no different to any other sport.
Yeah.
No. I guess a lot of it goes on the handicapping.
Yep.
Same as your big horses.
Yep.
They do get handicapped in the
Yep.
race. The kids actually go back 10 metres if they win a race.
Right.
So it's a fair game out here.
Because I see a couple of times horses are 100 metres behind at the start and they just can't make that ground up.
Yeah.
So how do they get back into a even playing field for themselves?
Okay, so the reason why they're probably back that far is because of the amount of wins they've had.
Yep.
So the bigger kids, they actually go back 20 metres.
Oh, okay.
The little ones go 10, the big ones go back 20. So every time they have a win, they go back those 20 metres. After they've had 4 unplaced starts, then they start coming forward.
Then they can come forward.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's the same as every part of the industry as well, that you struggle for funds and you need money coming in. How do you go about getting your...
Well, we're obviously a non-profit organisation.
Yep.
We get our money through sponsors weekly. We offer them to be able to do the 4 races in their name.
Yep.
We have 2 major sponsors, which is JB Trees.
Yep.
And also our Bella Pizzas.
Right.
This season on board, we've had Cope come on big time.
Excellent.
Lots of sponsorship from Cope, and then we also have the families that also put in a little bit for each week.
Okay, so at the end of the season, do you have an awards night where the kids get their acknowledgement of success? And
the kids get rewarded every week.
Okay.
There is trophies or rosettes, or they just get a medallion.
Yep.
But then on presentation, not everybody gets something, but we have like the Danny Hill Award.
Yep.
We have a couple of old ponies that have obviously retired.
Yep.
Jan Cox sponsors for those. We also have Sandra Hutchison that does a sponsor as well.
That's good.
So we do get some awards for the actual presentation, and they get picked out through the season for the winners. We also have the Golden Hands Award.
Okay.
So the kids get nominated, 3 points, 2, 1, and throughout the season for their working around here, helping up our kids, trying to get the older ones to, teach the little ones what to do.
So what about, every name that I see here is the next generation of trotting people, but are there any times where someone will walk in that hasn't got a Harding or a Hill name or a Smith or whatever, that's just come out and say, hey, I wouldn't mind learning this?
Not really, no.
No, so it's just a generation that we
It is
that
a
we bring
generation
through.
coming down.
Yeah.
Like us, our kids are now doing it through the lines.
Yep.
But then you get a few that don't want to. So we need to get some that have ponies that want to put them into the bike.
Yep. Are the ponies expensive, Kelly? Is that?
That's the cheapest part. Like
really?
a horse. It depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know, I actually bought one myself. She's 6 years old now.
Yeah.
From a show people.
Yeah.
So the ponies had no bloodlines at all for harness racing. Her first season, she won 6 in a row.
Wow.
So you can go and get any kind of pony.
Yeah.
Break it into the harness, and off you go.
Fantastic. So, I love it because it's, like we keep saying, it's generational. So you would have come here as a kid, your parents bring you along, or friends of the family. Right, okay. So, you know, they bring you along, they help you, they teach you, they get you the pony, and then all of a sudden the next generation's having their kids, and those kids that got helped out are now doing the gearing up and bringing their kids through to keep this harness racing going.
We need to. Yeah. We need to keep the kids going through. Otherwise, we're not going to have any drivers coming up.
Well, that's right. And it's trainers too. I mean, we need more and more drivers, but we need trainers to learn. I mean, even race callers. We've had Jimmy Jacques,
who
did years and years, and he's telling me the other night he did almost a 15-year apprentice from time of starting at ponies to finally getting a gig. Yes. Lockie Stace started.
Lockie is, our
I remember,
caller.
I think years ago, Michael Smith actually called him for a little while. Yes. So it is just that little community again, isn't it? Where everyone just gets involved and stays with it.
Yeah.
You'd like people from outside to come in.
You would. You know, you get people that come out on the big nights.
Yeah.
We don't see them back again.
Yeah.
You know, and they like the ponies, and they like watching the kids race, and they like the big horses.
And they love it. You can stand there and watch them with the ponies, and they, you know, everyone looks at it and goes, "Oh, how cute's that?"
Yes.
Well, it's not just cute. It's them learning the whole process of getting the horse ready to go to the races and hopefully winning. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what we want. Nice. And when you're a trainer, you've got to win.
Yes.
Yeah. So your involvement just continues on once the season finishes. You preparing for the next season?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we stop down, have a little bit of a downtime.
Yeah.
And then we kick off probably again in August.
Yeah.
Get ready for the new season that's about to hit us.
Okay. All right, well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Great to meet you and love the ponies. For the rest of us, it just shows the importance of ponies. It's not just get out on the track and have a bit of fun and the kids have a little bit of fun. It is the next generation of what we need to come through. We need more horses, we need more trainers, we need more drivers. So the Pony Trots plays a really important role in that. And I expect to see you involved again next year, no doubt.
I will be, yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you after the break.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Mobile Rolling, and here we are again this week with David Quirk, one of the best farriers going around South Australia. Now, I really want to nut at your brain on this. Now, you're a very well accomplished trainer and driver yourself, so can you give me some information about, when it comes to shoeing, how it supports and affects crossfiring in these horses out there on the track?
Right, this is one of the main problems with the problems we have with the gait is usually knee knocking and crossfiring. Crossfiring is when one hind leg strikes the inside of the front leg on the opposite side. There's various ways you're going to tackle that. Usually speed up and break over in front, which is get the front leg out the way quicker, or slow down the hind, leave the toe a little longer, some sort of trailer. Lower on the inside, there's various ways you can tackle it. There's a lot of old remedies, and having said that, the gait of the horse these days is so much better than it used to be. So you don't really, it doesn't usually pull you up with those sort of problems. Generally, they just go like the clappers these days. They're very, very well gaited. That's due to the, the refining of the breed. So there's little tricks you can do with. I would say the problems are getting less because the breeding is getting so much better.
It's improving so much more, and it's more conditioned to the tracks that we have, do you think? Or?
Well, just so much speed from the Americans, influence. They just breed for speed. To go fast, you've got to be good gaited. So the bloodlines have improved, and less problems for the farrier, but they do raise their head, on occasion. Yeah.
And what about, I know another issue is also knee knocking. Can you explain how that affects the horse and how shoeing can also help fix that problem?
Right. Well, knee knocking is when the horse strikes its one knee with its opposite front foot as it's going through its gait. Horses that are base narrow can have that problem when they've got a small chest. They're not well developed. horse with a turned out foot can bring that foot in when they, in mid-stride and hit their knee. There's, like I said, with the American breed, I think it's diminished. A lot of the old, when I started, probably 30 years ago, there was a lot more knee knocking. The gait was a lot rougher. It's got better, but there's still, there's tricks you can do to try and help that gait.
And to be able to pick up on either of these two things with the horses, is it something that you have to wait until they're out there and moving on the track or out in the paddock, or is it something that you can stand and visually assess and go, I think we're going to have a good chance of perhaps a knee knocking issue with this animal, or a cross-firing issue? Like how can we look into that further?
When they're young horses, obviously, they're getting gated up. The trainer will, he'll be right across that because he's concerned if there's a problem. He'll let it be known to farrier. Himself, he'll play with his gear. Let his hobbles out. Hold his head. They're very well balanced these days. A lot of these horses. So the trainer will be straight onto that when he's gating the horse up, and you can tackle the problem at an early stage. But some horses quite simply just hit their knee. That's just the way they're gated. So there's other various gear you can use, like spreaders and guiders and good knee boots that are very well close fitting. So there's quite a few things you can tackle with these days.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'm definitely going to have a few thoughts on a few of these with a couple of my own horses, that's for sure.
No worries.
And I'd love to get you back again at some point, definitely.
Not a
So
problem.
thank you very much.
No worries.
And back to you boys in the studio.
Etches. With over 30 years combined experience, we endeavour to make your presentation the best it can be. We specialise in all things corporate, from your company's major awards through to your club's trophy needs, as well as sports uniforms and equipment. Our giftware range is second to none, which you can view on eBay. All you do is just type in Etches. Etches is proud to be your one-stop shop, making everything a whole lot easier for you. Etches, proudly supporting harness racing in South Australia. Please come and see us at 142 Port Road, Hindmarsh.
Yeah, welcome back to Mobile Rolling. Special thanks to David Quirk and Liz Barbaro there with the farrier talk. Rocky, I mentioned earlier when we had Ryan Hryhorec on, leading state driver. Here's the history over the last 50 years. We go back to 1968. These are the 11 people. Kevin Brook was the premiership driver in 1968 with 49 winners. Then we had Dick Webster step in from 69 to 73, bar 1 year in 1972 it was Bill Shin. So Dick Webster in that 50-year term was 4 times the state leading driver. Bill Shin in 1972. Max Evans, the Superman of the
Superman.
1974. He had 42 winners that season. Max and myself, we got something in common. We've done something the same. We've miscounted the laps when we're out there driving in a race. I had an excuse. I did it at Cadena. He did it at Globe Derby and miscounted the laps. Superman of the soul. Anyway, my Uncle Bob told me that one. The most successful is Ross Sugars. He's done it 13 times.
Gee whiz.
His PB was in 86-87 season, 142 winners. So from 1975 to 1987, it was Ross Sugars across the board, a straight run of being the most successful. Then came Lance Justice. He stepped in 1988. He did it 10 times. He had it from 1988 to 1998. His PB was 166 winners. Bar 1 year where his brother John Justice did it in 1990. He had 164 winners. Then when Lance finished, Jeffrey Webster stepped in. And this is a bit what Ryan was talking about. Someone leaves and then you get an opportunity. Jeffrey Webster from 1999 to 2004 did it 6 years straight. Then Jeffrey left the state, right? Then David Harding stepped in, right? So David Harding from 2005 to 2013.
Wow.
Plus he did it in 2015 because Ryan Hryhorec's the one that stopped his flow there. Ryan did it in 2014, as we mentioned, 213 winners. And now it's Danny Hill. She's done it the last 3 years, from 2016, 2017, 2018, with a PB of 222. So that's the last 50 years.
Those numbers are ridiculous.
11 drivers, only, out of all the thousands that have driven in that 50 years, only 11 have been able to achieve the state premiership. Yeah.
Unreal, isn't it?
So there's a bit of info for you. Things to talk about. Ross Sugars.
Yes.
First ever man to drive 100 winners in a season in South Australia. That was in the 1976-1977 season. Then it went to 200. David Harding was the first man to do it. That was in the 2008-2009 season. 236 winners in that season, and that is the state record. No one's beaten that. 236, and that's the record. So there's a little bit of information, I suppose, about the sport of harness racing that you love so much, and we all love so much.
I do.
Yeah.
Now I have got something I need to get off my chest.
Oh, yeah, I've done something wrong now.
No, you haven't.
Well, I will. Give me time.
We like to think that we're building up a massive pile of fantasy money in our tips here.
Yes.
Last week,
here we go. Yeah.
Bulletproof Boy.
Yeah.
He had nearly 2 million running on Bulletproof Boy last week.
You've done your day,
Scotty.
Terry Packer.
And there was no remorse from him after the race. He actually called out to me and said, "Too much pressure, I lost," and he had a smile on his face. Now, I don't think he understood that the 2 million on Bulletproof Boy had just flown out the window, and I think he's our villain of the week.
The villain of
I
the
think
week.
he's the villain because we have to start from scratch again this week.
That brings me into a story, actually.
And we were going to donate that money to prize money
for
the trainers and
of course you were.
So now they're gone.
Bill Shin,
Yes.
who I mentioned in 1972 was the state champion. He drove a horse and got beat at Wavell one time, and there was a bloke yelling over the fence saying, "Oh, you had mongrel Bill Shin." He just smiled at him as he drove past. But anyway, that's another story. Yeah.
Speaking of stories, I got a Ford Triller at the races here at Morpheville with a couple of Woodville boys when we were playing.
It was a long time ago, 4 Trillers.
Yep. Yeah. Paid 11 grand. And we were either going to go to the casino, go to dinner, do whatever we wanted to, because we thought the 4 of us with 11 grand, that's a lot of money in 1982, I think it was.
Yeah.
No, sorry, 1984.
That's a good win.
And he had the idea that we should go out to Globe Derby because there's a horse there that's won 21 in a row and couldn't possibly get beat. There's a thing called Disco Danny that Jimmy Hurley trained. And it missed the start by 80 metres and tailed off. So we were just thinking there's 11 grand down the drain. We ran around the ring like superstars, 1,000 here, 1,000 there when there was bookmakers out there. And it won by a short half head.
Okay.
So we still got our money at 1 to 2, I think it was. We went from 11 grand to 16 grand, but fraction nervous after the start, mate, when it fell out the back.
I would say so. Yeah, gosh. But that's the sport. That's the sport of harness racing. There's highs and lows, there's ups and downs. You've got to ride the bumps. And, look, like Rocky said, if the show gives us an opportunity for you to put faces to the names.
Yep.
We bring the people there, you get a chance to see them, and if you like the show, give Max Beasley a call.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, Port Pirie Cup this week.
Seems you've lost the kitty on Bulletproof Boy.
Well, we did. And,
Port Pirie Cup, yes.
Yeah.
Trotters Cup, Pacers Cup.
Pacers
we
Cup.
spoke about on Princess Sophie when she won the Trotters Cup there at Port Pirie. She broke the track record. But anyway, go on, sorry.
Well, I think the
the
Port Pirie Cup, another great race, the Cadena Cup a couple of weeks ago at Pirie was a beauty. I'm grateful, but I think everyone's probably surprised that I do Worlds off the front again this week, which gives it some kind of fair chance, I would have thought. Ryan's on Tez Cora, so the back group, again, what we're saying in the Cups, they're coming off 20, 25, and it's bloody hard to make that ground up. Pirie gives them a bit of a chance because it's a bigger straight, but there's no camber to get around either. So it'll be another good race, but I think if Ideal World gets away and gets that cover again, whether it's from Rozzy or When Me Chief, he's going to be hard to beat, but it'll be a terrific race, I reckon.
Yeah, should be good. And they're going to have the Punters Club there as well, so Neville Thompson's asked me to be involved with that, so we'll see how we go.
Just you?
Yeah, well, I can't tell you who else is involved. So you're thinking it'll be a lot. Okay. All right. And because of that, if there's nothing else, we'll wrap it up.
We're out.
All right. So the Punters Club's going to be a loss at Port Pirie. That's Rocky's words. We'll see if we can prove him wrong. All right, that's it for Mobile Rolling this week. We had a good time. Don't forget, next week we've got Ryan Hryhorec will join us for part 2 as well. So join us next week as well.